RUBIEHART. Go ahead and take it away.
Hi everyone, how's it going, Flame Fatales? I'm RUBIEHART, they, she pronouns, and I'm so excited to be showing you Shadow of the Colossus. And because you met the incentive, really quickly, let me just show you. This is the formal outfit that you have won tonight, thanks to all of your wonderful donations going towards the Malala Fund. I decided to go with a suit look today. I was feeling very just gender bendy, very gender neutral, and I'm feeling this outfit. So I hope you enjoy. It is a tradition on my channel that occasionally we do formal runs where we play Shadow of the Colossus while getting completely dressed to the nines, and it is one of my favorite things to do over on my channel. So I hope you enjoy as we make this a formal run. And I have two wonderful commentators, the other Crystal Femmes, with me. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sunbrojade, or Jade. You've seen me a few times on Flame Fatales and different commentating different runs, but I'm a Shadow of the Colossus speedrunner, and I am happy to help support my lovely competition on the boards.
And heck yes, I'm so excited to have you two on the couch. We have become very dear friends over the course of the past several months through speedrunning this game. So it's wonderful to have you two on the couch with me.
Vanna.
So this particular game, if you've never played it, basic idea is that there are 16 colossi. I am going to have to take each one of these down, and in the any percent, you would see a little bit more about the plot. But since we are just doing boss rush today, what I'm going to be doing is kneeling in front of each one of these idols to take out the colossi one by one by one. So all of these huge totems, these idols that you see, I will be killing every colossus associated with them. But because I don't like doing boss rush just in a normal order, we're going to be doing it in a completely random one with dice rolls, because I'm a D&D nerd, so that's the way that we randomize it. So hey Jade, who's my first colossus?
You know, Ruby, your first Colossus is Gaius.
Gaius? Oh, we get to show off the coolest strat first. Oh, I love it.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're showing off one of the hardest and coolest strats in the game as the very first. Time is going to start as soon as I click to enter this fight. So that will be in 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm going to send it immediately to my commentators. This is one of the hardest tricks in the game, and I want to see if I can get this right.
Okay. I don't know if y'all can still hear Vanna, but anyway, so first Colossus, Gaius. So what Ruby's going to be doing is going to be throwing some arrows into Gaius's belly in order to lower the health to the point where it doesn't take an extra stab on to finish off his belly. And what they're going to be doing is going to be setting up a perfect position to do 3 consecutive jumps on the sword to make it to Gaius's head.
No! I ended up in a slightly wrong position on the bottom of the sword there. I was hoping I could recover that, but that's okay. Take 2.
Yeah, take 2.
Yep, and for every retry that I have to do, I'm going to be donating $10 myself to Malala Fund later, so every retry is just another opportunity to donate to charity.
More money for charity. So yeah, again, the three jumps is kind of like have to be in a really specific position. Like have to be closer to the end of the sword, so that way you get the momentum to go straight to the head, and they'll be grabbing the horn. Oh, and unfortunately, that does happen a lot of times where Wonder will stumble if you get too close to an edge, or if for some reason just Gaius shakes. But that's okay. You got that easy retry.
Yeah, that's the really nice thing about boss rush is if something goes wrong, especially in a marathon setting, all you have to do is hit that retry button and you get another chance to set it up exactly where you need it to be.
All right. Come on, Ruby, you got this. And... oh.
Nope, we're going to try one more time. If not, I can go for a recovery strat here. That's fine.
So thankfully, Gaius, this is not the only strat that you can, or that you have to do. There are 2 other, and I depending on the person, but there are a couple other recovery strats. You can do a jump over the cuff, or on a specific animation, you can jump over to his belly from the edge of his sword, which is also a decent recovery. It only saves like a couple of seconds doing the space jam, but this is the most flashiest, and it's so much fun. Which I think
there it is. There
we go.
Oh.
Nice.
Man, I was practicing this earlier and getting it first try every time, and then apparently just the marathon nerves are hitting. So, but that's okay. Hopefully, the other Colossi will go a lot smoother.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So Ruby's gonna get into a beautiful plant on Gaius's head, and it's gonna take 3.5 stabs to get this sigil down.
And what we mean when referring to a plant, just for anyone who never has seen a speedrun of this game before, is each of the Colossi. Oh no. I was gonna do a really smooth drop down, but now I need to wait just a little bit longer for him to lean backwards, and now I can get to the belly. There we go.
Nice.
So a plant is essentially a position that you can land in with different Colossi. Some have much larger areas where you can hit them, others are much more specific. But basically, you can get into certain positions where no matter how much the Colossus moves, they can't actually shake you out of it. So if you've ever played this game, since you are fighting these absolutely towering Colossi, one of the biggest things you have to fight with casually is the fact that they move around so often and regularly. So you want to hit those plants as much as possible for some Colossi, just to make sure that you can get in the stabs as quickly as possible. And which is going to be my next Colossus.
The dice are being finicky right now, but I'll be able to tell you in just a moment.
Okay. In the meantime, Nichole, if we have any donations, this is a perfect time. Oh, absolutely. Here, Vanna, can you reintroduce yourself so that everyone knows who you are?
It's
yeah, hi.
8? Okay.
So my name is Vanna. I'm a Shadow of the Colossus speedrunner. I got into this speedrun through the wonderful RUBIEHART. We've become very close, dear friends, and this is my first ever marathon. Apologies for the issues with the first introduction, but hi, that's me.
Yeah, I wanted the Crystal Femmes to be on the couch with me. I'm really excited to have Vanna here. Really quick, okay, so this is Kuramori. This is Colossus number 8. We refer to this as a gimme Colossus, even though he is very terrifying for casual players. He is actually one of the easiest Colossi to take out when it comes to the speedrun. So what I do here is essentially I whistled at the very beginning just to get his attention and get him on the wall exactly where I wanted him to be. Then I can do something called cycle stabs on the belly, where if you're on a diagonal surface with Wander, you can very quickly pop out of stabs after doing the animation, rather than having this longer animation of Wander like struggling to pull out the blade. So by doing those and then a quick jump stab to end already, that's before I can even finish explaining what the strat is. That's Kuramori. And who is the next Colossus?
Argus.
Argus, incredible. So number 15, Nichole, this is a perfect time for more donations.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I have $20 from Usurpering. Congrats for getting into yet another GDQ marathon with one of the best games ever made. You bring out so much positivity and energy to any speedrun you touch, and you are a fantastic representative of Team Eco Speedruns. The community is excited to watch this run, and I know Jade and Vanna will do amazing on comms. Shout out to all our fabulous femme runners. I also wrote a haiku because people were doing that yesterday and I missed out. RUBIEHART Gaming, actor, Thempress, speedrunner, say 5 syllables. Thank you so much for your donation.
Thank you so much, Yusu. That is so sweet. Usurpering is an incredible Last Guardian speedrunner, as well as speedrunner of some of the other games in the Team Eco series as well, and Pray for the Gods, which she was able to showcase earlier this week. I absolutely adore you, Yusu. It's so great to have you here and watching. I'm so happy to know that you're in chat and hanging out. Okay, I'm going to focus on this fight and let my wonderful commentators take over so I can focus here. This is another one of the really, really cool tricks in the game, so I want to make sure I can do it right.
So this is our lovely boy Argus, who is my arch nemesis, actually. So Ruby's going to be doing a very precise jump from onto the leg and grabbing onto the fur of the hand, so that way they can get a full stab onto that hand without having Argus drop his sword. Because normally you would have to climb up the scaffolding, up onto the up on the top bridges where he hits the bridge with his sword to drop it. and that's how you're able to get to his hand. But this way, we're able to...
There it is.
Nice, good job.
Yep.
We're able to get to that right away. Don't have to climb up and spend about 5 minutes up on the scaffolding. And Ruby's going to be doing a side launch from his thigh all the way up to his head. And nice.
It's a magic trick. This was one trick that I remember when I first saw this speedrun just didn't make any sense to me. I couldn't even comprehend how it was possible. But there are a lot of physics abuses like the ones you've seen with that first Colossus Gaius and with this one, where if you side launch off of things at exactly the right time at very specific spots of the Colossi animations, it causes Wander to be flung in several different directions. There are a few other places where we'll see that throughout the run as well with other upcoming Colossi, but there we go, Argus down. And it's already getting hot in here, so I am gonna take off this jacket, but I've still got the nice formal shirt and pants underneath, so we are keeping the formal going. Who is my next Colossus? Who am I fighting after this?
Your favorite boy,
my good... Oh, I thought you meant my actual favorite boy. Why would you tease me like that?
I am so sorry. I had to.
All right, well, while I go to my arch nemesis, Nichole, can we get another donation?
Absolutely. I have $100 from Library Nerd. They say the crew is super excited for Ruby Prom Shadow of the Colossus. Much love to all for the great marathon. Less than 3. And thank you so much for that donation. We are only $300 away from petting that horse.
Yes, please. Agro works so hard in this game. I would love to give her as many pets as is humanly possible. And this is another really hard strat in this game. I'm going to turn it over to my couch to explain how this fight works so I can really focus here.
Okay. So, boss run. So it was a very interesting strat with this one. Ruby's going to be able to do it before I am able to. Oh, there we go.
No, we got an aerial tour. Sometimes you get yeeted a little too high up and just get kind of an aerial shot of the Colossus. So, hey, that's the one we are fighting now, if you look to your left.
Yes. So what Ruby's doing is another instance of a side launch, and using wonderful physics to take you places where you probably shouldn't be. So by that, we're able to skip the entire intended portion of having him walk over a geyser, and we get to teleport directly to his head. And Ruby's doing some animation canceling by dropping off of his head back onto his shell, so that way he shakes less and you end up getting more stabs in. And which I think looks like they... Ooh.
If he wants to stop being a butt.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's being a little rude. Yeah.
He's being a little rude, yeah.
Oh, so but that's a plant. My gosh.
Nice.
It is so hard to maintain a plant on Bossaron's head just because of the way he shakes. So that's amazing. I would gladly take.
Very nice.
That was wonderful. Okay, considering this is one of my worst fights, those first two that I had to do a few retries on, I'm honestly a little sad because I'm usually much more consistent with them. That one is one of the hardest Colossi for me. The fact that I got that second try without issue, I'm over the moon right now. That's amazing. Yes. Okay, who is next? Who am I fighting?
You're fighting 11 next.
11 next? Wonderful. And Nichole, I would love another donation.
Well, I have got another one for you, Ruby. I have $50 from Aaron. I'm a simple girl. I see RUBIEHART speedrunning and hear Nichole Goodnight hosting. I donate. Good luck on Shadow of the Colossus and pet that horse. Less than 3. Chat, look at that horse. How can you not give that horse pets?
Yeah, look at this good girl. Look at this good girl. She works so hard. She fights so hard. And thank you to everyone in the Crystal crew who is donating and who is supporting in the chat. Words cannot express how much you motivate and inspire me every day to keep going with all the speedruns that I do and the streaming work I do. Just y'all are amazing. Thank you for being such an incredible community. Okay, so this, I have nicknames for all the Colossi. This is my little lion boy. This is Celosia. So Colossus number 11, the trick here is that this Colossus is a sweet little guy who's afraid of fire. So he, basically what I have to do is take this torch, light it on the sconce, and then by going over to this ledge, usually you have to kind of swing this torch across his face, just right in front of him to spook him into falling off this ledge. But by quickly dropping down and picking up the torch again, it essentially tells the AI when I'm not holding it, oh, I'm not afraid of you, so I can charge you, and then switches back to saying, oh, I'm afraid of you, and now I can activate this cutscene the moment you pick it back up again. So that's what I was doing there. Okay, we're good. I almost got shaken off there, but I was able to recover it, no problem. But by very quickly doing those animations, tricking him into going to the cliffside way faster than he actually expects to, and then dropping down onto him with 2 final stabs, Solosia is already down in 40 seconds, I think? That's beautiful. I will gladly take that. Yeah, 43 seconds. That's wonderful.
Nice, GG.
Thanks. Who's my next Colossus?
Okay, we're going from one good boy to another good boy. We're going to Zenobia.
Yes! See, this is the one I thought you meant earlier. Nichole, please give me another donation. I can't wait for it.
Absolutely, I can. I've got Danae Uncreative with $5. Much love to Ruby and the wonderful commentators Jade and Vanna. You've got this, Ruby.
Thank you so much. Now, one thing that should be noted is when I go into this fight, something that's going to be really important now that I am running this not on a PS4 anymore, I finally was able to get my hands on a PS5 after a year of searching, is I have to switch back to 30 frames a second. The rest of the game I'm running in 60, but the particular trick that I need to do in this fight is possible technically to do in 60 frames a second, but it's so rare and so difficult to get that it's much easier to get the clipping that we need by being in 30 frames a second. I'm going to focus on this trick and turn over to the commentators for the rest of this bit.
Yep, so
ahead,
here you're going to see Ruby's going to jump straight into the pillar.
Yeah!
Spamming that jump button as hard as they can so they can launch themselves as high as they can up this pillar, and then they're going to try and get Zenobia to aggro onto them, to slam into that pillar and knock it over, causing the next cutscene. And then, in this cutscene, there is another trick that you can do, which we call Wacky Jump, where you can jump in the cutscene onto the cliffside that's on the side, and we'll see if Ruby hits it. And Ruby did.
That was a beautiful, wacky.
That was a beautiful wacky jump.
I'm so happy with that. Yeah.
That was a really good blind wacky. But you're gonna try and get Zenobia aggroed onto you again so that they run into.
Oh no!
Sometimes Zenobia just doesn't want to listen. Yep. So usually there, you would be over where Ruby jumped a few seconds ago onto that little side ledge. Unfortunately, because we had to go back and get Zenobia's attention again, it just didn't work out that way. But with breaking that ledge, it breaks the armor on Zenobia's back, and then you just get onto their back and stab.
And unfortunately,
oh my god.
Ruby was on top of the platform where Zenobia makes it crumble. So then it's a little bit more difficult to get on poor little Zenobia's back. But
yeah,
usually
you jump. Yeah, usually you jump over to the side so that you can immediately jump stab Zenobia and not end up on the ground. But because she was already directly facing the pillar that she needed to hit, rather than doing a little turnaround animation that would give me a second to jump over there, she just charged directly towards me, so I didn't have enough time. And there are some cutscenes in this game you can move throughout. That is not one of them, so I was kind of stuck having to wait until the cutscene ended so I could immediately start reacting to get out of her way. The two small boys that we just saw, as I like to call them, are known for being smaller, but also a lot more aggressive because of how much more agility they have. So if I had gotten hit once by Zenobia, I probably would have been continually hit over and over and over and stun locked until I died. So that was a really good save. Who is next?
Dirge, also back to 60.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Settings. I am still getting used to running on a PS5, so I need to remember that. Thank you so much. Okay, so Dirge, this is one Colossus that when I played it casually was one of the most difficult for me, and now it's a really fun one for me. So basically, this is a sandworm. Each of the Colossi, as you've probably noticed at this point, have weak spots that you kind of hit in order to then access the bigger sigils that will do true damage to them. So with this Colossus, the trick is to line up Dirge right behind you and hit the eyes or one of the eyes with an arrow. So what I'm trying to do is land a fully charged arrow shot that was beautiful into the eye, and now once Dirge hits a wall, I'm going to be able to climb onto his back in order to hit the sigils there. Now, with some of the Colossi, you can do very specific amounts of damage to make sure that they don't repeat animations. So we call this a one cycle. So give me 1 second here to focus. Oh, that was a little low. Let me adjust. Oh, nope, and over adjusted. That's okay. So unfortunately, I got a 2 cycle there. Because I was talking, unfortunately, I'm really bad at talking and doing 1 cycles at the same time, but that's okay. We're gonna get an arrow in the eye here as quickly as possible. Let's see. And basically the reason why that works for several of the Colossi doing the 1 cycles is when you do that small sliver of damage to the weak spot, to the eye, or in some cases like the ankle, air sacs on one of the Colossi, so different things on different ones. They do tiny slivers of damage that if you go just under that threshold of what would take out a sigil, it's already registered a little bit of that extra damage from the weak spot. So you can trick the game into letting you do more damage than has actually been registered. I don't know if I explained that very well, but I did my best. But with a few more stabs here, Dirge is going to be down. Beautiful. Okay. There is Colossus number 10. I usually get the 1 cycle a lot more solidly there. I'm just very bad at talking and explaining the damage percentages at the same time as doing them. So next time I'll make sure to turn over to my wonderful Jade and Vanna. But who is next?
You're going to Pelagia.
Wonderful. And in the meantime, Nichole, we have time for another donation, please.
Absolutely. I have a $10 donation that says, hey, look, RUBIEHART right where they belong on the GDQ stage rocking it. If you aren't following Ruby, what are you even doing on Twitch? Smiley face, thank you so much for your donation. And also $20 from Anonymous, a little something for the best not a cult leader. Also, pet the horse. We are halfway through petting that horse. When you go ahead and donate, make sure to select that as the incentive. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to pet the horse?
Why wouldn't you want to pet the horse? I want to give my girl a good pet.
And every donation is closer to $100,000, which we are only $3,351 away from.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Pelagia, this is Colossus number 12, is one of the next ones. This is another incredibly difficult Colossus. This whole run, what you probably have noticed at this point is it's a lot of RNG, or not RNG, there are only really RNG with a few Colossi, and this unfortunately is one of them. It's a lot of like physics abuses, it's a lot of very specific and precise inputs. So it's about learning exactly what the rhythm of the fight is and knowing which position to stand in at the exact right moment. So what I'm trying to do here is get a dip down animation of the face. Perfect. And nice. That's what we call Wander's wonderful magnet hands. So when Wander is like pretty close to a ledge and should be able to, let's see, should be able to grab onto it if they were like an inch or two closer, but isn't quite there. Sometimes the game will just show mercy and say, you're close enough, and bump you upwards. So by hitting Pelagia with the arrows in the pattern that I did at the very beginning of the fight, I was able to get her to drop her head down just enough so I could climb on. And then with that animation cancel I did by grabbing the face right as she was charging up that attack, I was able to grab onto the belly. So from here, I'm gonna do another precision stab. So let me focus here. I think that was good.
Looked good.
Yep. So for this one, to get the 1 cycle, I had to do a full stab, a point. Yes, nice, there we go. That is the most precise stab in the game. I'm so happy I was able to get that. So with that particular sigil, if you do a full stab, a 0.95 stab, so and then 2 more full stabs, you can 1 cycle the Colossus rather than having to watch her throw you off, break a gazebo, and start her animations all over again of having to climb up her back onto her face, etc. And when we talk about percentage stabs, what I mean by that is if you notice that yellow meter in the lower left-hand corner, we will look at the dotted white line as it goes out when we're charging up a stab, and we can use that to calculate the amount of stabs we're using. What's my next Colossus?
You are going to Malice.
Oh, 16. Okay, wonderful. But yeah, so whenever we're talking about specific percentages of stabs, that's what we're referring to, is that meter in the lower left-hand corner. That is our stamina meter. Watching that dotted line as it goes outward so that we can calculate the exact amount of damage that we're doing to the Colossus so we don't do too much or too little. Okay, so with this particular fight, this is honestly one of the coolest fights in the game. Malice is the final Colossus that you face when playing through the game and is honestly terrifying. Those missiles that he's shooting are heat-seeking, but we have figured out as a community a very specific path that you can run, and there are a few different variations of this with different places where you whistle or roll or jump that allows you to make sure that he completely misses you with every single shot. The reason that works is the first little bit is just making sure that he thinks you're kind of in a different place than you actually are. And then once you're on that final ledge, Malice's shots technically aim for your feet so that they can knock you backwards. But by going right along that ledge with the wall that goes downwards, it hits that wall instead of actually hitting the ground and consequently hitting us. And now that I've already gotten past the area with the bunkers and barriers, everything else, that part usually takes casual players anywhere from 4 minutes all the way to an hour, just depending on how badly Malice wants to troll you. So we got through that in less than a minute, and now it's just about the climb. I am going to shoot his shoulder, which is one of the final locations of a weak spot on him. Usually you hit a sequence of 5 or 6 different weak spots to climb up different parts of his body, but I'm essentially skipping a bunch of the other weak spots to get onto his arm, and then with one of the animations he does to raise his arm and kind of examine what the heck is climbing him? This thing that wants to murder and destroy him. How dare I? I know I wouldn't want someone climbing me to destroy me either. But once he does that, I can actually use that momentum of him pulling his arm upwards to climb on. And already I am in a plant and on his head. So as long as I keep stabbing at very specific times, then I'll be able to take this Colossus out. So let me see with one more stab. Malice is down. Beautiful. Oh, that was a great fight. Okay, who is my next Colossus? Who am I fighting? What's my next big boy?
So we're going from one end to the other. You're going to go fight Valis.
Oh, wonderful. Number 1. And in the meantime, Nichole, I would love some donations.
Absolutely. I have $50 from Zell. May the Empress reign supreme for a great cause. Thank you so much. I have $100 from Shy Steph, the Sapphire Saphist. I am so glad to have joined Ruby's community and gotten to know all of the awesome beans there. Ruby and everyone else is so wholesome and supportive, and meeting them all has been a highlight of the year. Best definitely not a cult I have ever joined. I was introduced to Nichole's stream through Ruby as well, so all around a good time. I made a haiku, not really sure why I did. Now it's over. Good job getting the formal wear incentive done. Amazing, right? Thank you so much for that donation. We are only $113.67 away from petting that horse. Look at that horse. That's an amazing horse. We're gonna pet the horse, chat. We gotta pet that horse.
She's a really good horse, please.
The
first time I discovered you could even pet the horse was, yeah, the first time I actually discovered that I could pet the horse was from my commentator while I was running this at my very first speedrun marathon of Fleet Fatales back in 2020. I'm not even joking. If you go back and watch the VOD, you can see just my face in utter shock when I discovered this, and I lost time specifically because I went, no, I need to do this right now in the middle of the run. Hey, I should probably explain this Colossus and what the heck I'm doing. So this is Valis. There is a weak spot on the back of one of his ankles that you usually stab and then use the architecture to climb up his back, but we can actually move during that cutscene of him taking a knee. So what I was able to do is run forward completely blindly. You can't really see yourself in that cutscene. Grab onto his beard, climb up, and then with 3 stabs, before I can even finish explaining it, Valis is down. So hey, there's that fight. Oh my gosh, what was the time on that? That was really good.
That was really good.
Hang on, wait. 30 seconds flat. I'll take that. That's wonderful. Okay, who's next?
So we are on Avion.
Avion? Oh, Aviva. I love it.
Aviva.
The three of us also really like to run a meme category known as mirrored mode, where the entire game is flipped horizontally, which for speedrunners is very, very bizarre and very difficult and full of memes, but it's a really good time. So for the splits, we naturally decided that we were going to mirror the names as well. So Pelagia that you saw earlier is one of our community favorites. And I know that everyone at home who knows this joke is going to start repeating it loudly at their screens. So his name for us is Pelelep. Pelelep. And this is Aviva. So with Avion, the bird Colossus, what I'm going to do is shoot an arrow towards him. This is going to get him aggroed, so he'll come and sweep down towards me. And depending on his RNG, again, there are only a few instances of RNG in this game, and this is one of them. Once he finishes these initial flap animations, his right wing that I am on could either go up or down, which will allow me to, oh yes, okay. Upwing, we love to see an upwing because if I do this right, I can actually drop from one side of the wing all the way down to the opposite side, which is where his next weak spot sigil is. So there we go. Okay, you'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Getting over that spine is really the biggest obstacle that we're trying to hit there. So I have the two sigils here on the wings that I've already taken out, and the final one is going to be on his tail. So I'm no. Oh, that was heartbreaking. Okay, so usually I can jump off of that piece of the wing to get back towards the tail and go basically do a jump all the way to the back of the tail and a really impressive jump stab. Unfortunately, there are occasionally times where the Colossi just say no, and that was one of those instances where I ended up on a part of the wing I really didn't want to be on, and when I tried to grab on, the way the Avion's wing moved just popped me right off. But that's okay. We'll get to see this Colossus one more time, and I'm going to turn it to my lovely commentators to talk a little bit more about how this fight works, so that I can focus here and really make sure that I can get through it. Okay.
Yeah. So we've already kind of explained the beginning of the fight where you jump onto Aviva because of the way that he dips down at you. Usually, you're always going to end up on the right wing. Usually you can kind of tell whenever he's going to do an upwing or a downwing, and the upwing is a lot easier for you to get that wing drop, is what we call it, because he's not as curved. As long as you get over that spine, you really are pretty much in the clear, because then it's just kind of a run down to the other side of the wing. And what Ruby was trying to do before the unfortunate stumbling was, usually you can jump off and you'll be able to get flung pretty much halfway back to the tail. Each one of these sigils on the wings are going to take one full stab, which causes the spinning animation, and then we're going to see if Ruby can do this one this time.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, they did. It was really close and kind of scary. But one of the really big things about this last sigil is that it's basically the last third of his tail is the hitbox for the sigil. So as long as you are hitting somewhere on the back third, you are going to be putting damage into Avion, and just like that, Avion is down.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those unfortunate pieces of earlier today when I was practicing this, I did a run with basically no resets. It was like basically on PB pace, and I think I'm just getting a lot of marathon luck here of unfortunate resets. This is one of those places that if I was going for a PB, I really wouldn't want to lose time here, because the moment that you fall off and get what we call a wet Avion in the community, then that's at least a minute in boss rush, or usually 2 or 3 minutes in an any percent run. In boss rush, we at least have the advantage of being able to hit the retry button, but in an any percent run, you actually have to go down, find another one of those platforms, and try desperately to shoot Avion with an arrow. So that was a little unfortunate, but that's okay. I'm still really glad that I got to show off what an upwing and downwing look like. Here, Jade, what's our next Colossus?
What is a snake but an aquatic bird? It is Hydrus.
Ah, Hydrus. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna go into this next fight. And then as soon as this next fight ends, Nichole, if you can read out some donations just as soon as we finish, because there's gonna be a really long animation while we wait for that death spaghetti to hit us.
Absolutely. I have a little bit of a stream delay, so just let me know if I don't catch it.
No worries. I will let you know as soon as it happens. And I'm going to turn over to my couch because this is another one of those really, really hard fights that I want to make sure I can get right here.
So Hydrus, we do end up doing a very precise swim animation to land in this particular spot. Turn the camera angle, and Hydrus said no to that. So what we're doing is swimming to a certain portion, jumping and doing a jump stab in a very specific way to get Hydrus to turn her head. So that way we can walk on a certain portion of her neck to activate, her saying, oh, hey, we're on there. So she'll do a confirmation shake. We're able to grab onto the fur and skip the entire portion of running up through her tail, past all of her danger nodes. And
there it is.
That's beautiful. And
this horrible danger noodle.
Horrible danger noodle. So Ruby's going to do a series of jump stabs onto the sigil, and it'll be blink and you miss it, essentially. And sometimes if you step incorrectly on her head, she will do a head bob, which is kind of her defense mechanism.
No.
And sometimes you phase through Hydrus like that. That does happen.
Why would you do that, babe? Why would you do that? That's so rude.
So man,
mean. Her head animation, I phased through her and ended up underneath her. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, let me try this one more time. You
got this. You got this.
I swear I'm good at this game, chat. I swear.
They are very good at this game. So, so the intended way is to get Hydrus's attention, launch yourself off into the water and get her to notice you, and then climb up the back way, which, we're speedrunners. It takes a while. That takes too long. So we just want to automatically go to her head. Oh.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So what Ruby's going to do is a little backup here, which is just, we got right to the head. We got to skip all of that, but just going to do some manual stabs all the way home onto the head sigil. And with this last stab.
There we go. Hydrus down. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got to phase through a GDQ. That's something that very rarely happens, but occasionally you will just phase through the Colossus. It's a very weird glitch. There are a few weird glitches with this game. That's one of them. There's another one where if you take aggro during one of the other upcoming fights over top of Colossus while it's in the sand, aggro can actually lift up with the Colossus and will just stop with her legs completely stretched out and start spinning in circles. If you watch my Fleet Fatales run, it actually happened there, and I didn't know it was possible until then. And then there's another Colossus that has a little ladder on its butt that sometimes you will load into the fight, and the ladder will just start flailing up and downwards like this at horrifying speeds, and sometimes will last for 10 seconds and sometimes will last for 3 minutes and can be a major run killer. Okay, Nichole, please read me a few donations if you have them. And
Absolutely.
Jade, what's my next Colossus?
You are on Barba.
Barba? Okay, go ahead.
Also,
please,
we do
Nichole.
have a horse pet. I have $25 from Scataman. Happy to see Ruby live at GDQ for a great cause. Hope Onyx is doing well. Thank you so much for that donation. I have $150 from Keller Quag. Does the horse have pockets too, or are we just here for the pets? We are here for the pets, and we can get another pet for another $375. Also, chat, we hit $97,000. Amazing job. Yes! We are so close to 100,000. Thank you so much for your donation. And I have 25 from At the Violet Hour. Pet that pony.
Thank you so much for all the Pet the Horse donations. I love being able to give that good girl pet. She works so hard. She tries so hard. I'm so glad that I was able to give her that attention that she really, really deserves. Okay, let's see. So this Colossus Barba, usually what you were expected to do in the intended version of this fight is to run all the way to the back of his arena and hide so that he lowers himself, and eventually when he lowers far enough, you can climb all the way up onto his beard. However, what I did instead, as you could see, was by popping into his hand and then using that to climb onto his wrist. It's another one of those physics abuses of once I know that his arm is moving at a certain angle in a certain way, I can use that momentum to my advantage, jump, and launch directly upwards to his head. I've already taken care of that, and all I have now is a final stab on this back sigil, and just like that, Barba is down. There we go. We love. Oh, that was a gorgeous Barba. He can do really violent and horrible shakes of the back. Getting a sub 1 Barba, a sub 1 minute Barba, is where I always want to be landing. But unfortunately, there are some times where he will just shake like nobody's business. And sometimes you can cancel the animation. Sometimes he just doesn't give you that mercy. But there we go. There's number 6. And who's my next one?
You know, we're going to go and have a lovely beach day with Quad.
Quad, let's do it. And Nichole, one more donation would be perfect right now.
Absolutely. I have $13 from non-binary code. I'm a simple NB, shadowy Colossus, and suit with pockets. Color me them pressed. Oh, and pet that goodest girl. I agree. The goodest girls do deserve pets. We are $375 away from petting the goodest girl once more.
Oh, I would love to get in one more pet before the end of this run. Please make sure you get in those donations so we can give that good girl one more pet. Okay, so this is Quadratus, my boar boy. So what I'm going to do here is each of the Colossi, like I mentioned before, have weak spots that you kind of use in order to be able to climb onto the Colossus. So this one is going to have weak spots on the very bottom of his hooves. So by shooting that, I'm going to be able to jump onto this kind of butt platform right as he is lowering. So that is a really specific jump with the timing of the animation. Then I can do 3 cycle stabs here, which again, if you remember earlier, when Wander is at a very specific slant, you can get these very quick pop outs of these kind of stab animation and the animation that would let us see Wander like slowly pulling out the weapon. I'm essentially able to skip that. And here I'm trying to hit a very specific position. So this is probably one of the most precise plants in the entire game. And unfortunately, I got one of those positions where even though it looks like a plant at first and it walks like a plant, talks like a plant, it isn't quite a plant. But I'm going to do a few more stabs here. And once I finish these stabs on the head, then Quad will be down. The plant on this Colossus, like I mentioned before, is one of the absolute hardest to hit. I thought that I had it there at first, but unfortunately, it was one of those fake outs. Sometimes you can get a fake out plant on Quad. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Okay, Jade, who am I running to next?
So we're going to go to our wonderful pacifist in the sky. We're going to Phalanx.
Phalanx, wonderful. And Nichole, we have time for another donation, please.
Absolutely. I have $25 from NecroJester19, RUBIEHART playing Shadow of the Colossus, and Nichole Goodnight hosting. Does it get any better than this? Additionally, pet that horse. Thank you for your donation. Let's pet that horse.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we actually have time for one more as I head on over there.
Absolutely. I have $25 from Just Dave. You have to pet the horse since poor Agro doesn't get a bath when playing Boss Rush. Good luck, Empress. Not that you need it. Thank you so much for your donation. We do need to pet that horse. Horse is great. We need to pet
Thank you so much. Dave is another person who actually, from seeing some of my GDQ runs, actually joined the community and is now a speedrunner of Shadow. There are so many really, really good members of the community, and I'm so grateful to know every one of you. Dave, you're fantastic. Thank you for being part of the community. Okay, so oh gosh, I ended up on a really weird trajectory with Agro. Okay, so I was trying to hit the air sacs on Phalanx's belly. So this is the one Colossus that is known for the fact that he is a pacifist, unlike a lot of the others that will either attack just immediately and very aggressively, or will attack in defense once you start attacking them. Phalanx, no matter what, will never attack you. They will try and hide from you after you do a certain amount of damage by diving into the sand. But this is another one of those Colossi that by doing a very specific amount of damage to each sigil, we can actually avoid having to do multiple cycles altogether. So by landing on the wing, as I did, I'm going to be able to climb up as quickly as possible. Let me see. And once I get... No,
Huh.
wander. Do not give me butter hands right now. Do not give me, don't, sir, this is rude. And I would like to speak to your manager. That manager technically is me, but that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna do 1.9 stabs to each of these sigils. And that, because we have already done tiny slivers of damage to the air sacs on the belly, is going to register enough damage to kill the Colossus, but because we haven't taken out all of the damage on each sigil, it also won't cause Phalanx to do horrible barrel roll animations that take up a lot of time. And could cause Phalanx, if I'm not careful, to dive all the way down back into the sand and cause me to have to do all those animations that I did at first to get on him all over again. So the shooting of the air sex on the belly, the climbing up and getting over to the sigils. But with this final one, let me see. With one more jump stab, Phalanx will be
Wander.
down. There we go.
Nice.
Fantastic. Okay, Phalanx down. And those flaps that you see just over each of the sigils, the way that it kind of forces you to wait to do a second animation of getting back on him is once you do 2 full stabs to the sigils and a certain amount of time has passed, there's an internal timer for this Colossus. Those flaps will actually close on top of you and force you out. So by doing those smaller amounts of stabs, I was able to one cycle the Colossus. It's one of the most beautiful fights. I know a lot of people say it's one of their favorites. And this is kind of where the game tells you, hey, maybe you're not the actual hero of this story. Maybe what you're doing is not great. And I won't give more spoilers outside of that. You should really play this game if you haven't. The reason I started speedrunning it is because it's my favorite game. So I really cannot recommend it enough. Jade, who is our next Colossus?
So your last Colossus, but not least, is Phaedra.
Wait, we're seriously on last Colossus?
We're on the last Colossus.
Okay. Amazing. Cool. Awesome. That flew. Okay, so going into final Colossus here, I'm actually going to be trying to do a strat that I have never done at a GDQ before, and it is one that it's possible in 30 FPS and on PS4s, but it is a lot more tricky, whereas on 60 FPS, it's a lot more manageable. So, basically, so what you saw there was a version of the launch, but it's not quite the launch that I wanted. So this is another one of those things, much like with the other Colossi, where if I'm able to get a very specific kind of launch with a certain timing, by landing on the back of this ankle and propelling myself upwards, doing a side jump, I can actually get Wander to launch directly upwards to a much, much higher part of Phaedra's back. So I want to go for this one more time. This is a newer strat for me, but it is a really cool one, and I would love to be able to show it off here. I'm going to try that one more time. If I can't get it, I can always go for the backup, which is the version of the strat I've been doing for quite some time, but I would really love to show this off if possible. Let me see. And Jade, if you can take over here just to talk a little bit more about what this strat is, I would really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, of course. And don't forget, each retry is just more money for charity. Okay, so the Phaedra, or the launch that Ruby is trying to do is a very precise animation that you have to do as soon as Phaedra's front left foot, just as she's about to stomp down, you execute a one of those wonderful things that we've seen a couple of times is a side launch, and it will propel you upwards onto Phaedra's hip, which is the fastest way to get up onto her. Otherwise, you have to wait for her to land her foot down, jump up onto her ankle, which then you have to jump onto her thigh, which is just one.
There it is.
You just got it. Nice. So you get to avoid climbing up the butt ladder and halfway up of Phaedra. So then now Ruby is going to do 2 stabs onto the weak spot onto Phaedra's neck to make her lower her head. And thankfully, Phaedra's entire head is a plant. And it looks like Ruby got it, and is just going to stab all the way home.
Yep, so from here, Nichole, if you just want to read donations all the way until the end of this fight, that would be amazing.
Absolutely. I have $100 from Reverend Gumby. Good horses deserve all the pets. Thank you so much for that donation. $25 from Happy Bear. Ruby, you're going to make me want to speedrun this game. Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. And that's time. That's time. I should have said it before. Sorry, that's time.
No, you're fine. GG.
GG.
I will say that was a very clumsy run for me, but I'm still really glad that I got to show off a bunch of the fights. And honestly, I'm happy with the fact that I did retries. I would much rather be able to show the best and coolest versions of these strats than going for a bunch of backups, because genuinely, I think that Flame Fatales deserves to see the absolute best of this game. I would say, if you've never had the chance to play Shadow of the Colossus before, or any of the other games in the Gen Design series, so Eco or The Last Guardian, there's a really incredible speedrun community around it with tons of guides that walk you through step by step if you want to get involved in the speedruns. And if you've just never played them casually, do it. It's my favorite series of all time, right alongside the Legend of Zelda series. I really can't recommend it enough. They're beautiful with the implicit storytelling, with the graphic design, with the simplicity of the mechanics, and also the complexity of the puzzles. Otherwise, thank you so much, Flame Fatales, for having me. It's an honor and pleasure to be able to share this game anytime that I can. If you want to check me out and just what I do, I am over on twitch.tv/RUBIEHART, and I am not only a speedrunner of this, but I now speedrun the other two games in the series, so Eco and Last Guardian. I am a Phasmophobia speedrunner now, of Granted and Novice, and starting this coming week, I'm also learning the run to Solar Ash, which I am really, really excited about, and I have a laundry list of a bunch of other games that I really want to get into. So if that's something that you're interested in, or Let's Plays with a theater nerd like myself, then please come by. And I want to give quick shout outs to the Team Eco Speedruns community, to my wonderful Crystal crew for always supporting me and being so kind and such a wonderful community, as well as Steven, who is my streaming partner, my best friend, and has made streaming for me possible. Without them, I would not have pursued speedrunning and streaming in the way that I have. So those are my shout outs. Jade, Vanna, do you want to say any final words, any shout outs for you?
Hi, you can find me at twitch.tv/Sunbrojade. I am also a Shadow of the Colossus speedrunner. I'm also a speedrunner of Eco and soon to be The Last Guardian. I'm also a baby speedrunner of Phasmo, kind of, with Ruby. But yeah, no, shout outs to Ruby. They've gotten me into speedrunning in general. They're an amazingly wonderful person. If you are not following them, what are you doing? Why are you, what are you doing here? But yes, anyway, so yeah, that's me. Shout outs to the Team Eco speedrun community. Love you all. Thank you so much.
And Vanna?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Vanna, VANNNAAAA, because I'm quirky like that. But just major love to the Team Eco Speedruns community. You guys have been like the best supporters for anyone who has ever wanted to come into speedrunning. I found this game because it's literally one of my favorite games of all time. I found Ruby just because I was scrolling through Twitch one day and went, whoa, my favorite game, someone's speedrunning it? And I got accepted into this lovely community of people who have just been super supportive. Ruby is an amazing person, and they've literally made me a better person just by being around them. And I greatly appreciate everybody that I've met through all of this. So I just appreciate being here, and I love you all. So
amazing. Okay, and 4549, that's right around estimate. That was really my goal here, so I will gladly take that. But yeah, I think that's everything from us. Thank you again for hanging out for this run, and please keep donating and giving to the Malala Fund. It is a wonderful charity, and there are so many incredible runs still left to go in the marathon.
Thank you so much for that run. That was absolutely amazing. I have a $15 donation from Brooke. Saw the run Ruby had at GDQ. Had to support this wholesome sweetheart. Also, keep on being cute, chat. Thank you so much for your donation, Brooke. I have a $50 anonymous donation. There is no comment, but thank you so much, Anonymous. And as a reminder, we have so many amazing incentives open for tomorrow. Bid War is actually for Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. You can name 3 different Pokemon, and there are some amazing names already up there. You can also suggest your own. I, of course, am obligated to say that Caternies belongs on this list in some capacity, but also I'm really happy to see that Ma'am is on there. That has been one of my favorite things to see on here. So let's go ahead and get some donations in to name those Pokemon. Again, Caternies would be really cool. Ma'am is really cool. If you have a really cool name, go ahead and submit it. I think that's awesome. I have a $25 anonymous donation. Again, thank you so much, Anonymous. You are amazing. And chat, thank you for having me tonight. This has been fantastic. We got to $97,174.24. We are so close to $100,000, and that is because of each and every single one of you. Thank you so much. Again, it's been amazing, but you know what? We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with a Malala Fun interview, followed by Pokemon Omega Ruby versus Alpha Sapphire, and I will be back for Pokemon Omega Ruby versus Alpha Sapphire, as well as I will be your host tomorrow morning. So chat, stay cute, be hydrated, go ahead and do some stretches. I hope to see you all tomorrow morning, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, whatever it is where you are. See you soon.